In this video, I'll be continuing my ranking of every creature type in Magic, this time focusing on White's most iconic tribe. Angels have been around since the very beginning of the game, and they've come a long way since Alpha. Though Serra Angel has long been power crept out of competitive play, a number of Angels continue to put in results in tournament play. Let's dive in. Number 50. Angel of the Ruins. A quirky angel that doubles as early game mana fixing and a late game threat that exiles up to 2 artifacts and/or enchantments on ETB. Sees some commander use, lending itself naturally to reanimator strategies. Number 49. Angel of Vitality. Angel of Vitality is deceptively efficient. As an early drop, it helps stabilize your life total, and though it doesn't warp games on its own, it amplifies everything else in a life gain strategy, working well alongside the likes of Soul Warden, Heliod Suncrowned, or Righteous Valkyrie. Number 48. Angel of Jubilation. This lord shuts down effects that require sacrificing permanents or paying life as part of their activation costs. This gave it a home in some modern hate bears lists back in the day, as well as weenie white standard decks. It shows up now and then in Commander Angels decks as a defensive piece. Number 47. Lightstall Inquisitor. Angels tend to have high mana values, meaning that even mediocre cheap angels often have a role to play. One of the tribe's strongest 1-drops is this one from Edge of Eternities. It's a Savannah Lions with vigilance and a minor disruptive effect that can slow the opponent down a little bit. Number 46. Archangel of Tithes. A pseudo-propaganda on a body. Archangel of Tithes taxes attacks and blocks alike. It performed solidly in standard white weenie decks, and has also made fringe appearances in Pioneer. Some Angels decks in EDH have embraced it too. Number 45. Liesa Forgotten Archangel. Liesa Forgotten Archangel returns your fallen creatures to hand while exiling your opponents. A brutal asymmetry that makes her one of the most resilient mid-range engines in Commander. She works well in Aristocrats strategies, alongside creatures with ETB or death triggers or sacrifice effects, like Plague Crafter, Selfless Spirit, etc. Number 44. Emeria Shepherd. Emeria Shepherd's landfall ability turns every plains into a resurrection spell. Though slow at 7 mana, she is one of White's most abusable late-game tools. Number 43. Angel of Finality. This one's simple but effective. Angel of Finality is a body attached to Graveyard Hate, making her very useful in white decks that rely on typal synergies or blink effects. Disrupt an opponent's graveyard plans, then block in the air or chip in for 3 damage a swing. In Angel Tribal, having interaction stapled to a relevant body is exactly how you keep pace. Number 42. Sublime Archangel. One of the best exalted payoffs ever printed. Sublime Archangel grants your entire team exalted, turning any single attacker into a wrecking ball on a full board. She performed well in competitive standard circa 2013, and can still be a scary finisher in EDH. Number 41. Achroma, Vision of Ixidor. This version of the beloved angel rewards decks built around keywords, granting cumulative stat boosts to creatures that have multiple combat abilities. She has partner, meaning she pairs nicely with Rograk, Son of Rogar, and she goes insane if you have Odric Lunarch Marshal in play. Number 40. Liesa, Shroud of Dusk. Liesa taxes everyone's spells for 2 life, which adds up shockingly fast at a multiplayer table, while her lifelink helps you stay above water. Her alternative commander tax is also useful, letting you pay life instead of mana for recasting her. Number 39. Angel of Invention. 5 mana 2/1 flying vigilance lifelink with Fabricate 2 and an Anthem. Tokens mode for boards, pump mode for tall plans, blinkable and flexible. It was very good while it was in standard. Number 38. Serra Avenger. A 3/3 Serra Angel for just 2 white mana is absurdly efficient, but the catch is that it's only playable after turn 4. Still, Serra Avenger fits neatly into white, tempo, and death and taxes archetypes, rewarding decks that thrive in the mid-game. Legacy Death and Taxes decks were running this card as recently as 2023. Number 37. Serra Paragon. Once per turn, Serra Paragon allows you to replay cheap permanents from your graveyard. If that permanent would die again, instead it gets exiled and you gain 2 life. Quietly one of white's best value engines, powerful when it was in standard. Number 36. Akroma, Angel of Wrath. One of the most iconic creatures in Magic history, Akroma Angel of Wrath is a monument to over-the-top design. Flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black, protection from red. She performed well in her standard and later extended, where reanimator decks used her as their premium target. Power creep has mostly relegated Akroma to the sidelines, but she remains competitive in pre-modern. Number 35. Baneslayer Angel. There was a time when Baneslayer Angel was the benchmark for efficiency. A 5 mana 5/5 with flying, first strike, and lifelink, she dominated standard in her day, stabilizing life totals and quickly threatening lethal. She excelled in control shells and served as the finisher in the dreaded Core Blade deck, one of the most oppressive standard decks of all time. However, power creep has largely pushed Baneslayer out of competition. Number 34. Chancellor of the Annex. If revealed from your opening hand, Chancellor of the Annex taxes your opponent's first spell. A deceptively powerful effect in formats like Legacy or Commander. Once she's on the battlefield, she continues that pressure, forcing your opponents to pay more. In Kalia of the Vast decks, she's an early game speed bump as well as a late game threat. The card sees a decent amount of play in Legacy combo decks, as well as occasional use in Modern in Allosaurus combo decks. The Chancellor even appears in Vintage, where it's usually a 4 in the Initiative Hate Bear decks. Number 33. Archangel Avacyn. 5 mana 4/4 with flash that gives your team indestructible for the turn, and flips on a non-angel's death into a 6/5 that pings everything for 3. A masterclass in tempo and surprise. Archangel Avacyn made tournament appearances in Standard, and has also popped up occasionally in Modern and Pioneer, where flashing her in against a board wipe can completely swing a game. Number 32. Gisela, the Broken Blade. A 4/3 with flying, first strike, and lifelink for just 4 mana. Already pretty impressive. Plus, when paired with Bruna the Fading Light, she melds into Brizella Voice of Nightmares, a towering 9/10 that shuts down small spells. In practice, the combo is tricky to assemble, but when it works, it's unforgettable. Number 31. Drana and Linvala. A 3/4 flyer that both shuts off opposing creature abilities and steals them for you to use, making Drana and Linvala a back-breaking silver bullet in Commander. This legend is popular in that format, appearing in almost 5% of all decks on EDH Rec. Exactly how good the card is depends heavily on your meta. Against decks loaded with mana dorks, combo pieces, or engine creatures, like Kinnan Bonder Prodigy, it's game-changing. Against spell-based decks, less so. Number 30. Fire Main Commando. This 4/3 flyer for 4 draws you a card whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures. It grants the same boon to your opponents when they attack, but only if they're not attacking you. It's a quirky effect that encourages other players to turn their fire at each other rather than you. Number 29. Inspiring Overseer. Straightforward yet solid. Inspiring Overseer is an unassuming 2/1 flyer for 3 that draws you a card and gains you a life on ETB. It's one of the most efficient 3-drop angels available, making it a Pioneer staple as well as a major player in Pauper in white weenie strategies. It pairs well with blink effects too. Number 28. Youthful Valkyrie. Few creatures have done more for Angel tribal decks than Youthful Valkyrie. While not flashy, it's a crucial workhorse in Pioneer Angel's tribal. A 2-mana 1/3 that grows whenever another Angel enters. She transforms what used to be a clunky late-game tribe into something with an actual curve. Number 27. Avacyn, Angel of Hope. An 8/8 with flying, vigilance, and indestructible that grants indestructibility to all your permanents. Once she lands, wiping your board becomes nearly impossible. While at 8 mana, Avacyn is too slow for most 60-card formats, she's a defining finisher and defensive anchor in EDH. Number 26. Emeria Angel. Turning every land drop into a 1/1 flyer may seem modest, but over time it builds an army that scales beautifully with fetch lands or bounce effects. Pair it with Divine Visitation for maximum effect. Number 25. Sephara, Sky's Blade. Instead of paying Sephara's mana cost, you can simply pay 1 white and tap 4 creatures with flying. That flexibility makes her a terrifying top-end threat in decks that can flood the board with small creatures. Giving all your other flyers indestructible is also perfect for those kinds of go-wide archetypes, which are typically vulnerable to board wipes. Funny enough, she lends herself more to Spirit Tribal in Pioneer than Angels. Number 24. Feather the Redeemed. A Commander cult favorite and once very competitive in Standard and Pioneer heroic decks. She's a fun card that goes crazy alongside spells like Defiant Strike and God's Willing. Built right, with cheap cantrips, protection, and other heroic creatures, Feather becomes a relentless value engine. Narrow but powerful when supported. Number 23. Linvala the Preserver. 6 mana 5/5 flyer that gains 5 life and or makes a 3/3 if you're behind. Classic catch-up card. Best from sideboards or late game top decks. When both triggers go off, she's an absurd stabilizer, pretty much instantly flipping the board state, making her useful against hyper-aggressive strategies. In Standard, she appeared in decks like Naya Aggro and Green-White tokens, though more often out of the sideboard since she's unimpressive when her triggers miss. Nowadays, she's most likely to be found in Pioneer in enigmatic incarnation decks. Number 22. Ixhel, Scion of Atraxa. 5 mana toxic Phyrexian Angel with flying and vigilance that steals from corrupted opponents' libraries. The best Abzan poison commander and a solid mid-range threat. She functions as both an enabler and a value engine in poison shells. Number 21. Starfield Shepherd. Starfield Shepherd's ETB effect tutors a basic plains or a creature with mana value 1 or less. Just that effect on a 3/2 flyer for 5 mana would be underwhelming, but the 2 mana warp cost makes things a lot more interesting. Blinking Starfield Shepherd creates a ton of value, which is why it sees competitive play in modern in Azorius Ephemerate decks, backed up by the likes of Felia and Quantum Riddler. Number 20. Serra's Emissary. When Serra's Emissary enters, you choose a card type, and then you and your creatures have protection from that type. Naming creature locks your opponent out of combat. Naming instant or sorcery can blank removal. Though expensive at 7 mana, she is a fantastic reanimation target. Serra's Emissary frequently appears in the sideboards of vintage Oath of Druids decks, as well as modern Indomitable Creativity decks. Number 19. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. Shalai is the ultimate shield. She protects your creatures, planeswalkers, and even you from being targeted, while offering a mana sink that buffs your entire board. Her presence on the battlefield immediately demands an answer, and her ability to supercharge token swarms or mid-range threats makes her indispensable in Commander. Shalai also capstones counters shells, slots into Enchantress and Angel Tribal, and even makes the odd appearance in combo decks as a defensive piece. Number 18. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. Another Commander bomb. Gisela doubles damage to your opponents and their permanents, and halves damage coming at you and yours. She's one of those finishers that can turn the tide of battle instantly. When she was in Standard, Gisela was one of the top reanimation targets. In Commander, she goes crazy alongside cards such as Heartless Hidetsugu. Number 17. Aurelia the War Leader. Yet another EDH mainstay. Aurelia holds an impressive 7% inclusion on EDH Rec. She's a slam dunk in Angel Tribal, Naya Midrange, Voltron, and crucially as a combo commander. Helm of the Host or Sword of Hearth and Home mean infinite combats. She also combos with Adarkar Valkyrie and effects such as Altar of Dementia or Goblin Bombardment. Number 16. Battle Angels of Tur. Battle Angels of Tur is one of the most elegant pieces of catch-up design ever printed. Myriad creates copies attacking each opponent. Each hit draws cards, gains life, or creates treasures depending on what you're behind on. Premium white card advantage that explodes in multiplayer. Number 15. Sigarda, Font of Blessings. A 4/4 that gives your other permanents hexproof and lets you cast angels and humans from the top of your library. Protection plus card advantage in one tidy package. Number 14. Linvala, Keeper of Silence. One of White's most oppressive hate pieces. This version of Linvala shuts down activated abilities of opposing creatures, rendering mana dorks, combo pieces, and utility engines inert. During the Birthing Pod era, she was the quintessential tutor bullet. Once a staple of 60-card formats, now a sideboard card and commander roleplayer. Number 13. Sigarda, Host of Herons. This legend has seen respectable use across modern Legacy and Commander, popping up especially in old sideboards for Collected Company or Amulet Titan decks. She's 5 mana for a 5/5 flyer with hexproof, who prevents your opponents from forcing you to sacrifice permanents. Number 12. Righteous Valkyrie. 3 mana, a 2/4 body, insane life gain. Righteous Valkyrie rewards your plan, playing angels and or clerics and gaining you life, and then turns the corner with a +2/+2 anthem once you're 7 over your starting life total. This makes it one of Pioneer Angel's key payoffs. Number 11. Resplendent Angel. Going hand in hand with Righteous Valkyrie is Resplendent Angel, a 3/3 flyer for 3 mana that rewards life gain by spawning 4/4 angels at end step whenever you gain 5 or more life. Its activated ability gives it +2/+2 and lifelink, helping it trigger itself. Angel Tribal's best 3-drop, and a self-contained win condition. Number 10. Karmic Guide. A cornerstone of white reanimation, Karmic Guide has been looping creatures and fueling combos since the late 90s. It's part of countless infinite combos, usually with Revilark or Safi Eriksdotter. Protection from black matters, and the spirit subtype is sometimes relevant too. Number 9. Exalted Sunborn. A recent addition to Magic's pantheon of great angels. Exalted Sunborn is a warpable angel that doubles your tokens. That gives it an instant home in various commander decks, as well as a role as a one-of in certain builds of modern Boros Energy, synergizing with Ajani and Ocelot Pride. Number 8. Lyra Dawnbringer. If Baneslayer Angel was the paragon of white efficiency back in the day, Lyra Dawnbringer is her modern successor. A flying 5/5 with first strike and lifelink, she also grants every other angel you control +1/+1 and lifelink, making her both a tribal linchpin and a bomb in her own right. Lyra was a terror in Standard and continues to show up in Pioneer, usually in Angel Tribal and Blue-White Control. Number 7. Platinum Angel. One of the most influential card designs of all time, as well as one of the coolest. Platinum Angel was a key ramp and reanimation target in the early 2000s. Even today, it's formidable in Commander when given indestructible or brought back with Sharum the Hegemon and Goblin Welder, etc. Nowadays, we have scarier monsters to cheat out, but Platinum Angel is still a classic. That said, every once in a blue moon, you do see it in Legacy in Welder Stompy decks, or in Vintage alongside Oath of Druids. Number 6. Archangel of Thune. Archangel of Thune turns every point of life gained into permanent +1/+1 counters across your team. Pair with Soul Warden and things get out of hand fast. Pair with Spike Feeder and you go infinite, even if it has been overtaken by Heliod Suncrowned in that archetype. Number 5. Restoration Angel. Deceptively simple but endlessly useful. Restoration Angel became a cornerstone of value decks across many formats. She was a defining card in her standard era, famously pairing with Thragtusk for incredible value, and it became a pillar in Modern 2, appearing in Birthing Pod, Warblade, Splintered Twin, Hate Bears, Humans, and Blue-White Control. Her synergy with Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker even enabled an instant win combo, generating infinite angels. Number 4. Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. The third most popular commander on EDH Rec, and it's easy to see why. Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink, and Proliferate at end step. Atraxa Praetor's Voice is a one-card engine for nearly every counter-based strategy in existence, whether that's Planeswalkers, Sagas, Infect, Energy, Experience, and of course +1/+1 counters. Number 3. Iona, Shield of Emeria. For 9 mana, you get a 7/7 flying body that shuts off an entire color of your choice. In Standard, she was summoned through Polymorph, in Extended via Dread Return, and in Modern, Unburial Rites and Indomitable Creativity have been her go-to enablers. Legacy remains her true home, where Reanimator and Sneak and Show decks sometimes deploy her. In Commander, she's banned outright for being miserable to play against. Number 2. Giada, Font of Hope. One of the strongest lords of all time. 2 mana for a Vigilant 2/2 flyer that taps for white mana usable only on angels, and every subsequent angel enters with a +1/+1 counter for each one you already control. That means Giada accelerates your curve and supercharges your board simultaneously. This almost single-handedly transformed the Angel's archetype from clunky to competitive. Number 1. Atraxa, Grand Unifier. For 3 generic and 1 mana of each color except red, you get a 7/7 flying, vigilant, death touch, life-linking monster that draws you a potentially absurd number of cards by revealing the top 10 of your library and letting you take 1 of each type. That kind of card advantage, combined with a massive body, explains her popularity across every major format. Standard used to reanimate her with the Cruelty of Gix. Modern uses Neoform and Indomitable Creativity. Legacy cheats her out with Sneak Attack or Show and Tell. And Vintage runs her in Oath of Druids. If her current trajectory continues, she could easily become the most impactful angel ever printed. That's all for today. Until next time, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and consider joining my Patreon.